Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's hotter than hell here in New York City. It's like 95 degrees, or excuse me, Long Island, 95 degrees, about 105 with the humidity. Um, Hope all you're doing fine. I want to reiterate something uh, of last week. Basically, um, it had to do with being kicked out of friends' houses due to my reputation had preceded me, meaning my mother's reputation had preceded me. See, her alcoholic tendencies and her narcissistic tendencies followed me, and they marked me as a marked child that had no idea what the hell was going on. And I probably mentioned this last week. I'm almost positive I did according to my notes. But I was subliminally absorbing the foul language that my mother was spewing. And I didn't realize it, but she was programming me to curse. Mind you, I'm 5 and 6 years old here. And actually, I think I might have been younger than that, because from what I was told, I was cursing from the time I was able to actually talk, which is beyond disgusting and deplorable. And that's actually child abuse right there. I was kicked out of friends' houses, and for essentially, and you won't believe this one. It's gonna seem kind of queer, not by today's standards. I'm not talking about queer. I'm talking about weird. I was actually fishing for compliments. Let me explain that for a bit. I would say, how did that look, or how did I do, but a bit more emphasis, and I would ask it 2 and 3 times. It's like I didn't even hear the first time. I had to have it reinforced. And friends or whoever was telling me, giving me a compliment, they would say, "Well, we already told you were doing well. Stop asking." This was only the start of the result of the abuse. I didn't realize it. I didn't know it. Now, after the I'm laughing because I just now remembered a few specific details about what was going on. I had said I was in a yard. I might have been 7, 8 years old. I forget. Playing basketball with a neighborhood friend of mine, and I kept on saying "Holy S, Holy S, Holy S." And now this is where it gets really. I almost cursed again. I'm sorry. My mother was getting a haircut by this kid's mother. Not 30 feet away, maybe 20 feet away. We're playing basketball. And all of a sudden, the mother comes toward us and says, "Danny, you got to stop cursing." And I said, I didn't think I said, "Well, I'm not cursing." And then my mother says, "Yeah, Daniel, why are you cursing? I didn't teach you that." And I was old enough to realize that what she was doing at the time, she was cursing at me. And that's one of the first times, it didn't dawn on me, but that was one of the first times that I actually think, wait a minute, she's lying. And subsequently, that night, I asked her, I said, "Why did you lie?" And she goes, I never said that in front of you. She lied right to my face. This is what narcissist people do. She knew I wasn't going to defend myself any further, and she knew it. I felt more prey to her because then I'm like, well, maybe I should apologize to her because I didn't know what else to do. I was only 8 years old. This is what they do. And this was part of the abuse I was facing. It wasn't physical, it was mental. She preyed on me, like I was saying before. Every day, a normal, loving mother would naturally praise her child. Now, these are other examples also. Doing well in school, compliments, i.e. sports, wherever the compliment might come from. But not me, not mine. She wouldn't compliment me. She would denigrate me in front of people, family, whoever would compliment me. It didn't matter who it was or where it was. Or she would say, I picked out his clothing, or it was my idea for him to do that, my idea for him to do this. Anything to take the focus off me, where it belonged, and put it back on her. So she was in control and she was feeding her ego. Now, then she proceeded and say, she would say to anyone, Danny wouldn't be doing this well or dressed like this if it weren't for me. Emphasis on me. And she would say it like that. He doesn't have the greatest taste. She would say just like that, he doesn't have the greatest taste. She would say it laughingly, like jokingly, This way she wouldn't be taken seriously. Another secret, another way that narcissists do that. Another good example was during parent-teacher conferences, those she actually attended. Teachers would sometimes praise my work because I was actually a very good student. But my grades were like a seesaw because of my mother. She would praise my work, and she would say, he wouldn't have done this well if not for me. I'm dead serious. Most parents say, well, we showed him good study habits and he picked it up and we check his work, but he deserves all the credit. Or we caught this, we showed him this, we showed him that, we taught him this. She would say his grandparents spoil him while I try to help him, which was almost partially true. But she said it in a way that was actually a deflection. Her way of helping me was saying, "You're not going to be anything. You're just like your." And I'm telling you, she would say this: "You're just like your effing father." Yet she says she didn't curse in front of me, right? Okay, right, yeah, no problem. Then she would act morally in front of different people, like I said before, to outsiders, yet still keeping attention on her and praise. It was total and complete BS. Because she never helped me. Sometimes I would tell her I did well in school, like I said before, as a little kid. Her response to these questions or any kind of inquisition I had was, it's an easy question or easy test. You should have had the answers correctly. Once again, putting my abilities or my achievements down intentionally. You know how many times my ego was completely shot? It was 10 feet under. Anyway. There wasn't a word or praise or a hug and I love you. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Nothing. Where was my father when all of this happened? Couldn't tell you. Due to fierce neglection on my mother's part and father's part of rejection and neglect, naturally I sought attention elsewhere, and I did. This is where I got bad, though, because when I saw people from different personalities, it could have been as a bad, like a quote-unquote bad boy, We used to call, for those that remember back in the day, called dirt bags. Well, guess what? On different days, I feel like being a rebel and emulating them back then. I did that. I almost got my ass kicked several times. Then I tried to go with the brainiacs because they impressed the living hell out of me. I was impressed by the grades. I was impressed by the way they spoke, their articulation, and what they were able to accomplish. And it seemed like they had a lot of confidence. It was a different type of confidence, so it was more like the dirtbags had a false sense of security. They felt they had to put people down or talk cool or talk tough or whatever, something like that, to be accepted. These guys didn't. They would talk about unorthodox ways of subject matter, but that sometimes got my attention as well. You could call it eclectic. That didn't work out though because they would start doing homework immediately after school. I didn't do the homework because the abuse I had at home, and I knew what was coming at home, so I didn't go home. My mother's objective was to keep the praise, meaning me, the P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-I-S-E. Keep her prey's confidence down. Keep my confidence down. So she could manipulate like a true narcissist always does, making herself the cause of my doing well, never praising me. It's like a facade, guys. The facade, she makes her son, or makes her, sometimes look good, but then takes the credit. And she makes damn sure that she gets the credit, or else she will fuel the fire and completely morally put you down. Now, she made herself the focal point of attention, not me, because she knew she disgraced the family by getting pregnant out of wedlock. Therefore, instead of taking the blame and accepting motherhood and giving the greatest gift of life, which was me, she took her self-pity, she took the blame, took the anger from her soul and put it on me. To this day, the confidence with women is still very subpar. And I haven't had a date, nor have I been ready to have a date for quite some time due to my alcoholism, which I think I might have said to you in the first couple of episodes. 26 years of alcoholism, and as a matter of fact, this month, the 18th, it'll be 6 years sober. Do you remember the musical group 38 Special? I'm quite sure you do. There was a song called Hold On Loosely. Well, if you know the lyrics, basically it says, hold on loosely but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control. I met a girl, fantastic chemistry. But, like many times before, and this goes back to me never getting praised or loved or taught to accept praise as a child, meaning every time I got it, put down, taken away. Any term of endearment from a girl, i.e. honey, babe, I love you, something like that, I did not know the difference, and it's literally right now, I'm just starting to realize it. The difference between a friend calling me the aforementioned, honey, babe, I love you, something like that. The feeling would be magnified 100 times because I did not know the difference in the meaning or the tone. I didn't know how it was supposed to be. And I would react like she called me, like she was causing me to... I would react as if she liked me and she wanted to date or something like that. And needless to say, that caused me to make a complete, total fool of myself a lot of times, or scare the girl right away. Because she might have liked me, but different times they say hon or babe or whatever they call you. As a term, sometimes girls say that all the time to girls. They say it to guys. Doesn't matter. They don't mean it, though. I didn't know that. Okay, that was an education which I'm still learning, and now I'm beginning to realize the difference thanks to the girl I've met this time. But there's also something that you have to do too to yourself, which I didn't realize. You got to have boundaries too. And if you don't have the boundaries for yourself to figure out things out yourself, then you'll destroy yourself. Heretofore, because of my narcissistic alcoholic mother, I only started to gain confidence through life lessons and the good relationship with God I have right now. I'm going to stop this for the show right now. I've got some other news that I'm going to share with you on my next podcast, which is coming up. It actually reveals, I'll give you a little tease right now, it actually reveals, remember Operation Warp Speed? Well, in Germany, the equivalent to the CDC, the Robert Koch Institute, which is RKI, it's the U.S. equivalent to the CDC. They have revealed the German government ignored scientists to impose strict COVID mask mandates. In other words, they went against the grain, and a whistleblower has come out with different news that I knew before, a lot of other people knew before, and I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I am for vaccines. I don't like experimental vaccines. And I will tell you all about this on the next one. Thanks for listening. This one, the one I went over before about my mother, she did do everything I just said before, but just hearing it like that didn't do it justice. I wish I could have had a tape of how she actually sounded, because I'd say 75% of the time she was drunk or buzzed or whatever. I'd say 80% of the time I actually forgot where she was because she was not a mother around me. And she was right. I did go to my grandparents. Why? For comfort. You gotta, and well, we'll go into the next segment as soon as I'm we'll go into the next news in the next segment. Thanks for listening, and please, by all means, if I had a a way of calling in, which I don't right now, give me an email, drdaly66@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. And I look forward to the next episode. Thanks for listening. Take care.